going on, Ronin? How you doing today? In this video, we're talking about New World server merges and do they need them right now? New World, as we know, came out in the September with a high population of people trying to get in. Matter of fact, New World on Steam charts peaked at an all-time 913,000 people, almost hitting that 1 million player mark. Now, recently, after all the bugs and stuff come down, we can see that its 24-hour peak is around 254,000, and playing an hour ago, there's about 245,000. So we can see the population has greatly diminished across Steam, and this is cutting from September 29th, the game's released, until November 9th, which is the day I'm recording this video. So, does that mean that it's time for New World to pop in these server merges? Well, when New World first launched, there wasn't enough servers for everybody jumping in, so they opened up a ton of new servers, and each server is set on its own particular world set. And some of the world sets match up. So you have like Arcadian new world sets and Arcadia Psi world sets. And my thought theory process when they first came out with those is that they made those world sets like that where you can only create one character per world set, so eventually they can merge these servers down. And that seems like what's going to have to happen here soon. Kay, the New World developer on the forum, on this forum post that's titled "We Need Server Merges," they say, "Hey there, world merges are on the horizon, but require additional scale testing before we are confident enough to use the tech on the live worlds. As you can imagine, given the first few rocky weeks, we are using an overabundance of caution here. Keep an eye out in the official news area for an update from our community managers on this in the near future." And there's a lot of replies underneath. People are pretty excited about it. People are kind of worried about it. People think they need to have some more player testing involved in that, which I'm not sure how that would work, seeing that they're merging servers. One of the questions that popped up in these replies, which I also think and agree with, is how will New World handle territories? Each server has its own territory layout with who's in charge of what territory. With yellow's in charge of Windsward, and purple's in charge of Windsward on another server, and green's in charge of Windsward on another server, all in the same world set, how will they manage to get those to determine who is in charge of that territory? And that's one of the topics that hasn't been discussed on here by the developers, at least not that I've seen so far. I could have missed that, and hopefully we'll get some news on that information soon. What I would think they could do is, when they merge the servers, they kind of wipe out the territory ownership, but then that asks the question, what happens to all the stations that have been leveled up in that territory? Because you know you have your tier crafting systems. Some people might be a little more advanced than others with like tier 5 stations and stuff like that. So could they do an all-out war? Would it be who the person that's the most advanced in that territory? Will that most advanced company keep that territory? So that's the difficulties of having a realm control, a world control, a territory control system. In the MMORPG, when the numbers start to dwindle down, you need to start merging servers, because most games eventually come to this point. Well, most games, like I said, most games come to a point where they have to merge servers. Final Fantasy seems to be doing the opposite, where they need to add servers, which is a good thing. It's always good to see people adding servers to be able to support more locations and stuff like that. So that's a good question. What do you guys think? Do you think it's time for New World to merge them servers together, build up the population more, get more people on one server? We know the servers can handle quite a few people on them. We've seen that test happen a lot of times. So if some of the populations are low, I think in some of these posts here, somebody was like, at noon, they had like only 170 players playing at 12 o'clock, which is a small number. It makes it hard for wars and outpost rush and PvP and finding groups for dungeons. A lot of that stuff becomes hard when there's a handful of people. In this case, like it's 100. You don't have like a hand to hold 100, but it's technically a handful of people in the grand scheme of things. A handful of people on your server. And a lot of people still like New World. I think Shroud was playing it today on Twitch, and he was at like 17,000 people watching him play. And a lot of people really enjoy the game. It does a lot of things different and unique. They just want like a lot of these fixes. It's going to be a game that you have to grow with it, and people will come back in as the game does well. If you look at other games like Elder Scrolls Online, that game came out to a poor audience reception. And seems like a lot of MMOs kind of go through this real cycle now, because there's MMOs out now that seem to do it right, and we expect every MMO after that to come in and do it right as well. And that's not the case, because MMO developers are trying to get away from just copy pasting what was already done. They want to be unique. They want to have something that drives you to their game, or you can just play the game that you're already playing. Like, why would I play this when I'm already doing it? So there's going to be some tumbles and some stumbles along the way. But as we see, a lot of people in the community for Elder Scrolls is thriving. They're really positive about the game. They like where it's going. They're always excited for new expansions. And I think that can be the same, that can happen for a New World. Like, the same thing can happen for New World. Eventually, the game's gonna find where it belongs, its place, its footing, and it's gonna have some great systems. Combat's gonna be fixed great. Some things are gonna be tuned well. When they start coming out with dungeons, more dungeons and raids, if they add an expansion pack to it, all that stuff is gonna be done well. Add things to the game that the game needed, some quality of life type things. It's gonna just improve over time, because it is a new style of this MMORPG genre that they're dived into. Kind of have survival, but they took away the survivability part of it. But it's mostly still got the action combat, which is more like an action game, and not just press left click a bunch of, well, you are pressing left click a bunch of times, but you know what I mean, right? Like, it's not like the normal action MMORPGs. It has a little bit more difference to it than those do. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Time for Emerged? Or have you hung up? Have you just hung up on New World? You say, I'm not gonna play this anymore. Are you still playing it? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, let me know with a like or a dislike. Feel free to subscribe to the channel to help support this channel's growth, to be able to make some cool content for you guys in the future. Just want to get this channel up there so we can do that for you guys. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.